Hello, Master Manifestors. It is Olivia Grace. I literally keep going live without setting up the camera, and then I can't remember how exactly I had it set up before. But anyways, okay, so let's just get into the video. So I am talking about leveling up your manifestation, making manifesting every single thing in your life, especially the things that appear to be hard, making this just 1,000 times easier for you guys. I feel like this is going to be a very powerful video. So yeah, definitely like, comment, subscribe. All of those things help support my channel and support me to get this message out to more people. I have coaching links in the description. I do guided SAT scenes, guided revision scenes. Information is also in the description, okay? So yeah, and I have made a playlist, you guys, of my 30-day challenge thus far. It's been some real heavy hitters. So if you miss some, I'll link that in the description. Well, I'll add this to that playlist and link it to the description. But let's talk about what makes you, like when we think about someone like Neville or we think about someone like Abdullah, these are people who were clearly at a different level mentally that allowed them to manifest in a different way. Even with Neville, the way that he would, just manifest for others, even where it was as simple as, isn't it wonderful for him? Did you hear about so-and-so? Isn't it wonderful? And that was enough to completely shift this person's life. Or Neville visiting different places, all these things, right? There is a different level of consciousness that these people were on, right? And this is something that I feel like is like considered to be law of attraction-y or, whatever. And it's not really something, well, no, I won't say that it's not something that Neville talked about. I would say now in the law of assumption community, in the new age kind of law of assumption community, it's not really talked about. It's more focused on kind of techniques, right? Which is cool, but that is a certain level of consciousness that you're coming from when you're creating, right? So let's just start. And you guys, it's good for you to know what level that you're at, and just for you to be able to rise through those levels to make manifesting easy as cake for you. Because the truth is, it is easy as cake for you. You are a God. You are a God in flesh. You are a God being expressed right now as a person, as a human, and living this life on earth, okay? So truly, there is nothing impossible to you. When you think about a character like Jesus, right? And I know that Neville says that, Jesus wasn't a person, he's just an idea. But in my opinion, I believe that Jesus was a person, and but I also agree with the way that Neville interprets the Bible. What I believe that Jesus represents is God awakened in man. God is fully awakened in Jesus as man, right? Jesus was not knowing himself as a lowly human. He was knowing that my Father and I are one. He was fully aware. And that's the thing, the potential of Jesus, which is why he says in the Bible, all the things that I've done, you can do also and more and even greater, right? Because Jesus was aware of the potential in him, and he was acting out that potential. He was acting out his God potential, right? Jesus was healing people. Jesus was doing, things that would seem like magic tricks or, things that are obviously not in the power of humans, right? But Jesus was doing it because he was not identified with his human self. He was identified with his God self fully, right? Now, this law of assumption journey, manifestation journey in general, spiritual journey, is us really rising in consciousness, right? Really, we are having a resurrection every single day. We are becoming, we're knowing again, we're being born again, we're rising again in consciousness from man to God, right? So here's the thing, guys. This is why it's hard for a lot of people, because people come into manifestation not understanding this, right? So they're thinking of it from, I'm a human, I'm Joe, I'm manifesting this thing. So I, as Joe, have to figure out how to manifest this thing. Okay, the people on YouTube are telling me to, affirm, or they're telling me to visualize, or they're telling me this. So these are the things that I will do. Hi, Thunder, how are you? These are the things that I will do to, manifest this thing, but they're doing it from the consciousness of Joe. They're doing it from the consciousness of a person or a human who has limits, who has limiting beliefs, who has a past, who has, you know, a story, who things have not worked out for in the past, right? They're doing it from that state of mind. And that's why we get these sporadic results where it's like it'll work for some things or some really cool trippy things will happen, but when it comes to the big things that we want, it's always seeming just out of reach, right? It's seeming just out of reach, or you just give up before you, or it's just too far. So I want to take you guys through some stuff real quick. Before you woke up, the level of consciousness that you are at, or even most people are still at that are asleep in the world, is the level of being a victim. Even within the manifestation community, there are people that are here too. And this is more like the newbies that don't understand fully that they are creating, right? So this is at the level of the victim. Life is happening to you. Okay, life is happening to you. You don't take responsibility for anything. You're kind of like, you know, this is when you give into all of these things that they've got, you know, everything's holding you back, whatever that is, you know, well, I can't succeed in life because I'm a Black person, or I can't succeed in life because I'm a woman. I can't succeed in life, you know, because of my parents and they traumatized me. I can't succeed in life because but everything is because of somebody else and somebody else that needs to change, right? And that's the victim state. From there, life is fucked, and we all know that. We've all lived from that state, right? And then you come to know about manifestation, and we usually get into this kind of superstitious phase, and it's like this in-between phase of knowing your power and still feeling like a victim to life and to circumstances. This is where people are kind of like, you know, the government's out to get me, and oh, watch your back, you know, there's cameras in the trees and cameras in the flies, and they're trying to get us, and everybody's, you know, watch out because, you know, stay woke. And that's why that's why I don't associate myself like that. So it's like you're knowing that there's more going on than what you're seeing, but you're still identifying as a victim to what other people are doing. You're still seeing that your fate, what's going to end up for you is in the hands of, you know, the government, or, you know, people that are trying to keep us down or whatever, right? Then we rise in consciousness again. And this is where we really start to fully take responsibility that I am creating my life, right? And this is where I'd say most people are kind of residing. I'm responsible for this. I can say that, yes, I'm creating this, right? But there's this disconnect where you're still identifying as a human, right? And when I read you guys' comments, when I read, you know, you guys, and even when I go through this myself, I can see that you're still identifying as the person, right? You're still identifying as, you know, the person that feels like, you know, I'm just this human, right? I can only do these things that are possible to me. Or you look at your desires, maybe your bigger desires, and like, okay, yeah, I get it conceptually that, you know, everything is possible to me, but I don't really believe that. You're not really like believing that. And what this has to do with is like a sort of like confidence in yourself. But let me really quick explain, because I've been talking about understanding this conceptually, right? I want you to think of like maybe like you go to like, I don't know, like a French place or an Italian place, right? And they're making pasta, right? The chef is making pasta. That chef can give you the ingredients. He can give you the recipe. He can tell you step by step what to do, but guarantee his pasta is going to come out better than yours, right? You have the concept, you have the steps, you have the understanding right there, but the difference is that he's put it into practice for 30 years. You're doing it for the first time today, okay? So this is what it is with manifestation, where a lot of you guys are understanding conceptually, because you're here every day, and I'm telling you every day, you're God Express, you're God Express, you're God Express, but you're like, yeah, but how can I really do this thing though? Yeah, but when is it really going to happen? Yeah, but is it possible for me to do this? So you're not like, you understand conceptually, it's clicking, you understand it, but you haven't experienced it, right? You haven't continued to experience it and prove it to yourself. Not enough for you to kind of like really understand that for real, the only limit that you have is yourself. Now, the next part of this is the part that allows you a couple of things that allow you to move from this sort of consciousness, right, where most of you guys are, into the God consciousness, okay? And this is something that I feel like is not really touched on a lot, because people are not really teaching the part of you being like like the God part. They're not talking really about the connection with God. It's all about what technique are you doing? Should I do this or should I do that? Should I visualize or affirm? Should I do sats or should I do this? That's the only way that it's going. And fine, you can do all of those things from the consciousness of being a person, right? But at some point, it's only going to take you so far, right? And so this is why, and it's so funny, you guys, because my guides kept guiding me to the Bible, right? And I didn't I had so much resistance to the Bible because I grew up Christian, and I really don't agree with religion at all, but when you read the Bible and you understand the Bible interpreted the way that Neville interprets it, the way that Reverend Ike interprets it, the way that Joseph Murphy interprets it, as a like an allegory or a story, when you read and interpret it that way, you start to understand God as you, not just in you, but as you, God being you, being expressed as you. And when you come into that consciousness of mind, this is how Neville was able to do the stuff that he did. This is how Abdullah was able to do the stuff that he did. I did check out the Yogi Thunder. I was just about to say, this is how that Yogi Thunder yesterday on yesterday's live was talking about a man that lived to 280 years old and was able to drink a gallon of poison and nothing happened to him. Okay, he did levitating, all kind of crazy stuff. I can't remember his name. Thunder, you can probably type it in there. But this is how people are able to do these things, because they are not identified with their avatar. Okay, they're not identified. You cannot, me right now, I can't drink a gallon of poison, right? In this moment right now, with the consciousness that I'm having right now. But if I wanted to rise into that consciousness, what it is knowing yourself as something different, right? It's being bold enough to assume your identity as something more than just this person with these beliefs, with these hindrances, with these obstacles, with these things. There are no obstacles to God, right? But it's about being able to really identify as the God within you. Now, when you start, and really, guys, I think something we think about is we're pieces of God, right? We're pieces of God. But really understand, there is no pieces of God. God is all one. God is not fragmented, right? God is one God. And it's hard for us to wrap our heads around that, because we're so used to seeing ourselves as these lowly things, lowly beings, just this person. Oh, I'm just that. There's all this virtue and being, I won't say humble, because I still believe in being humble, but it's not good to celebrate yourself. It's not good to see yourself as wonderful. It's not good to put yourself on a pedestal. It's arrogant or whatever. We're so used to seeing ourselves as lowly that when it comes to really identifying ourselves as God, that's where we shy away from it. And we're like, oh, I can't really accept that, and that's where you be bold and you dare to assume it, you guys, because from the consciousness that you're in, we feel like there's this thing that will happen. And for some people it does. But in the law of assumption community, you can assume and just know yourself. Start knowing yourself. Start being curious about that. Start identifying. And just, that's what I'm saying, being bold enough to just identify as the God within you, that I am God, manifested as this version of me, as this person, as this in this avatar. But because I am God, there is nothing that is impossible to me, and everything is easy, right? When you're coming from the consciousness of, okay, I'm creating, but I'm creating as a person, right? This is where the techniques have all the power. This is where, okay, if I get this right, if I do this right, then this, then this thing will allow this thing to happen for me, and then things will, all of these things. It's like the power is in this thing, right? When I was talking to Dracarius yesterday, and or maybe a few days ago, and she's talking about a reader telling her future and telling her what was going to happen and how this person was accurate and all of these things. And it's like, when you are not identifying yourself as God, when you are not identifying yourself as the one power, then there are powers above you. There, you believe that there's something outside of you that is better, not better, but above you, right? There's something out there that can decide something for you, or that can make something happen for you or not happen for you. Well, there's these things, there's these rules, there's these, laws of the universe, there's these things. But when you understand that you are the one that put all this shit into place, You are the one that put all this shit into place, right? And you're supposed to not, like, you're supposed to forget that. That's what you came here for. That's why 3D is so convincing, because you're trying to fool God, basically. God is fooling itself. So it has to be pretty convincing to fool God. But even so, we're still waking up to the fact that we are gods, right? But it's about really identifying as that. And that's the next part that I wanted to say. I talked about this in the video. I think it's called, this is like the big missing piece, and it'll be in the 30-day playlist. But what the big missing piece is, you guys, is worthiness. And that's what I talked about in that video. So I'm not going to go too much into detail, but it's because we can't accept that for ourselves. We can't accept ourselves as someone who is this high of a being, who is this worthy, who really can have all the power, who really can have something at the snap of the finger, at a random decision, at just whatever that we don't have to effort, right? That we don't have to force something, whether we're forcing it with action or forcing it with techniques or whatever, that we can just decide that we can have something and we can have it. It's this idea of us being, well, I'm just this person. Well, I'm just Olivia. I'm just, Joe. I'm just Mary. I can only be this and do that in my past. And I used to be like in my family and my childhood and all of this shit. But you don't realize that you're God sleeping in man, though. Right? You're God sleeping in man. And the difference is if you are able to wake yourself up to that. And that's why I be telling you guys, wake yourself up every single day. You need to be reminding yourself who you are every single day, that I am God express. I'm not just this person. As long as you're operating from I'm just this person, you're going to have this person kind of problems. But when you really go to God, like, I want you to think about what it is that you're manifesting right now. And that's so hard. And that's such an issue and such an obstacle. And, oh, you can't get over it. Like, but I want you to think about that. How would God look at that, though? How would the being that put the freaking galactified the galaxies, as Alan Watts says, how would God be looking at your problem? Would it be such a huge thing? It's a huge thing because you're seeing yourself as under it. And that's why I be telling you guys you're above it. But you have to rise above it in consciousness. You are what you say you are. As a man thinketh, so is he, right? So whatever you say that you are, you are. That's why I was telling Dracarius the other day when she was telling me about the reader, well, if you agree that what this reader has prophesized for you is true, then it's true. But it's not true because she said it. It's true because you agreed to that. Okay? So your agreement, that's the video. Your belief animates your reality. That's what I'm talking about in that video. That will also be on the playlist. Your belief, the things that you agree with, that you put your stamp on, that you say, yes, that's true for me, that becomes true for you. But some of us are so stuck in, well, this is who I am and this is what it is and this is what it looks like. So this is just that. So you're so stuck in that you stay in that. You can't even make the decision to be something more. But just make the decision, y'all. Make the decision. And for me, it was easier for me to start just loving myself as Olivia, and then even loving, like, seeing myself as from God's perspective, from the God in me's perspective that chose this specific avatar. And then understanding that us together as a collaboration, as a team, as the God within me, allowing me to and this body, allowing me to have this avatar, having this human experience, that there is nothing that's impossible. There's nothing that's too big. There's nothing that's too grand. There's nothing that's too perfect. There's nothing that is out of reach, because every single possibility is in existence now, right? But that's really that's something that we can hear conceptually and be like, okay, like parallel realities, okay, but not really understanding, though, that if there is everything in existence now, if there are all realities that are in existence now, if creation is finished and all you have to do is select, what is stopping you from selecting that? What is stopping you from selecting that? It has to do with that worthiness, that there's a part of you that is feeling like, I don't know if life can really be that good. I don't know if I can really have that. I don't know if things can really be that easy for me. I don't know if it'll really be that easy for me, or if I deserve it to be that easy for me to make a decision and my life to change, for me to make a decision and be rich as fuck, for me to make a decision and be with my SP, for me to make a decision and be forgiven for all the shit that I've done. But you understand that you are God playing a role right now, and your role is forever continuously up to you. You choose your role, right? You choose your role, but we have given, even in within such a powerful community. The law of assumption to me, and this is just maybe the level of consciousness that I'm at, but as I know, this is the most powerful community that there is right now. You know, you can be within this powerful community and still accept limitation on yourself and still believe that, well, that might work for everybody else, but you know, I'm different. No, you're not different. Nobody's different. The God that was expressing through Jesus Christ is expressing through all of us. And it's just whatever we accept at that level that, okay, here's the part. Just like I said a few minutes ago, I'm not going to drink a gallon of poison and expect myself to live, right? But I could rise to that consciousness if I wanted to, right? And I think that's the awareness that you have to have, you guys, that you have the option. Because a lot of you guys, number one, you're still thinking that 3D is what's giving your options. Jacarius, I've been talking to you. You know, you're still thinking that 3D chooses your options for you. You're still thinking that what's in front of you is what's the option for you, because you're still thinking from a human state of mind instead of a God consciousness, when God is knowing that what's in front of him it doesn't matter. How could God create the galaxies that weren't there if he looked at the void and was like, well, there's no stars here. There's never been stars here before. So how could I really do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. So understand that and identify. Be bold, give yourself the sovereign supremacy to be bold enough to decide that you are God and you have the power to create as God. And when you're manifesting from that point, every single thing is going to seem like a piece of cake for you. It's going to be as simple as, here's my intention, and I already know it's going to be done. So I'm grateful. I'm happy. I'm moving on with my day. Or maybe I'm, dwelling in my imagination and in my mind about, what I'm going to do, like I said, like manifesting a, vacation. Well, now I'm thinking about outfits. I'm thinking about, whatever, maybe get me a new neck pillow for the plane, whatever. You're fully living in the end automatically. You're living in the end automatically because you're already knowing that it's only up to you. It's only up to you, you guys. And it's just, it's also though, up to you to decide if it's up to you. That's the thing. So you can decide that, oh, well, it's up to, all of these things out here, or it's up to my past, or, it's up to this technique, or it's up to, no, it's up to you. Okay. Like understanding that it's up to me and I'm deciding that I'm God. And not only am I deciding that I'm God, I'm knowing that because I'm God, everything is easy for me. Everything is already mine. Okay. All right. Let me see what y'all talking about in these comments. Let's see. I should be reading these out loud. I'm just like reading them in my head. Okay, let's see. Neville Soundbite says, can you manifest tangible money instantly? Of course you can. Listen to it. Of course you can. Listen, y'all. Listen what I'm saying, okay? Because after everything that I just preached to y'all, and I'm not saying anything bad to you, Neville Soundbites, about the question, but I'm just saying, you guys, there's nothing impossible to you. Nothing, okay? Nothing, not a thing. Money, people are doing that all the time. It's easy. Just tell yourself it's easy. Y'all, whatever the fuck you're manifesting, tell yourself it's easy. Understand that you are writing and living your story as it goes. Like the little fairy tale books, on Shrek, when she's like, Mrs. Fiona Charming, Mrs. Fiona Charming, Mrs. Fiona Charming. You're writing your book, right? And living it at the same time. So Neville Soundbites, you can manifest any fucking thing, but it's up to you to decide that though. If there's a part of you in your mind that's like, well, that's too hard, or I don't know, or this or that part will take over because that part is more practice. But you want to start suggesting and accepting to yourself that there's nothing impossible to you, so that you don't have to ask that ever again. Can I manifest any fucking thing? The answer is always yes, because everything is within you. Thinking from the God self and not my human self, things are happening quick and a wild animal is so loving and affectionate. Oh, wow. That's awesome, Thunder Bear. Yeah, you guys, and this, just try it, you guys. Try it. And this is why I'm saying, this is why I talk about this, because it's not really talked about out of a lot of the, Neville law of assumption teachers, nobody really talks about the Bible. And I'm not even saying it has to be the Bible, you guys. It can be whatever religious text or whatever text really focuses you in on who you are, though. Like beyond this, though, right? And I feel like Jesus was a great example as someone who's doing miracles over and over and over and over, and telling us, though, that these are the things that you can also do. So if Jesus can heal lepers, if Jesus can resurrect people from the dead, if Jesus can turn water into wine, if he can walk on water, if he could do this, can you manifest money instantly? Yes, you can. But this is what this video is about, you guys, is rising in consciousness. Okay, is rising in consciousness to the identity of the one who can do all things. Okay, when you are in the consciousness of the person who is still looking for things to confirm, or to whatever, like you're not in the God consciousness all the way. You're not really truly identifying with that, right? And that's going to be the difference, y'all. That's going to be the difference. These people, like I said, these teachers that are doing these things are knowing. Eckhart Tolle knows he is not Eckhart Tolle. He knows he is being Eckhart Tolle. Neville knew that he was not. This is why Abdullah said, this is why Abdullah could eat and do whatever he wanted to do and be fine. Because Abdullah knew, even as a black man back in that time, being a teacher of white men back in that time, because he knows he's not even Abdullah. He's not even a black man. He's so much greater. He's God. He's God. You are so much greater than whatever the fuck you think you are, you guys. And that's the realization, y'all. That's the realization. You're greater than that. That's why I be telling y'all you're above this shit. That's why I be telling y'all you're above this shit. But this video, I tell y'all that every video, but this video is for you to understand, to identify and accept that as true for yourself. Until you accept that, until you keep looking at all these people around, even these YouTubers, and saying, well, that's just for them. That only works for them. That only works for all these thousands of people and their success stories. They're only the ones, and I'm just the one that doesn't work. Then that's true, and so it is. You wrote it into your book, so it is. Write something new, y'all. Write something new, but do it from the consciousness of the one that knows that they are creating, okay? Knows that they are God. Okay. Oh, wait, I didn't read the first part. Thunder said she had a random cute manifestation. She really wanted to befriend a fox. Aww. In the UK, the foxes just run away when you see them. And now he has brought his baby fox back to me, and I hand-fed them. And she said, thinking from the God self and not my human self, things are happening quick, and a wild animal is so loving and affectionate. That is so beautiful, Thunder. Oh my God, that's so cute. And I know it's part of your beautiful spirit that they can recognize in you as well. Let's see. Let's see. You can do whatever you can imagine, and the things you can't imagine. Ooh, I like that. That's so true, you guys. You can do, that's the thing, y'all. All the stuff that you feel like right now that you can't do. That's why I said, like, I don't feel like in this moment that I can drink a gallon of poison and be all right, but I know that I can, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I don't feel like I can right now because of the consciousness that I'm at, but I know that if I wanted to, I could raise my consciousness to that point, because I'm not limited by this avatar. That's what I'm telling y'all. Don't be limited by this avatar. You're not limited by the avatar. You're like the bird that's in the cage with the door open, and you're saying all you see is bars. All you see is bars. You're like, oh my God, I can't get out. No, I'm stuck. Somebody feel sorry for me. Somebody come scoop me out of here. Help. Turn the fuck around and fly out the door. That's what you're doing, guys. I'm so glad that helped you. Let me see. Someone I knew with a very open mind really believed in fairies, and she said she saw a tiny fairy in a flower one time. It was like a dragonfly with a human body. That's so weird, Thunder, because I swear to God, like, I feel like I had been seeing those like a few weeks ago, and I also feel like I'm a fairy, and somebody like hit me with like a large ray and made me like human size and put me here. But anyways, let me see. Aw, thank you, Thunder. All right, you guys. Well, that's the video for today, y'all. I'm not going to go on and on more than I already have, but I know that this has helped you guys. Your special Neville Soundbites. I'm so glad to see you here, and I saw your comment before, and I just love you guys so much. You guys are so dope, awesome. If you guys want to subscribe, well, definitely subscribe if you're not. Like the video if you want to help me and support me, and I will be back tomorrow, you guys. So I love you guys so much, and I'll see y'all then.